What's up, team? This is Matt with Project Unbroken, and today I'm going to explain to you how a Japanese business practice that started right after World War II can also help improve your life starting today. Stay tuned. So the word Kaizen is Japanese for improvement. After World War II, the Toyota Corporation had some American consultants come over, and the idea was to make a small, simple change every day instead of making a big, drastic change in a short period of time. So the Japanese really ended up liking this idea, and what they found was by making really small incremental improvements each day, they were able to make massive changes in their corporation in a pretty short period of time. So how does this relate to our lives, especially, as people who are coming out of addiction or any sort of adversity? How can we use this Japanese business practice, Kaizen, in a way to better our lives? So when I found out about this, I kind of looked back at, my history with anxiety, depression, drug abuse, alcoholism, you name it. And I kind of saw how I started to chip away at these problems I had in my life. And it was very similar to the practices that Kaizen refers to for businesses or corporations. The idea is try not to bite off more than you can chew. The saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I think this is a really effective way to look at dealing with an issue that we might be going through in our personal lives. Again, like depression, anxiety, addiction, being in a bad relationship, whatever it is. A lot of times we get to this unmanageable part in our lives, where whatever we're going through is kind of bringing us down, and we want it to be over with and done. So we have these big lofty goals where it's like, if you're on heroin, for instance, as I was, I would be fed up, and you're withdrawing and you're sick, or you can't get dope, or you're getting arrested, you're getting in trouble. The initial reaction is like, all right, that's it, I'm done, I'm erasing my dealer's phone number, and that's it, like turning over a new leaf starting tomorrow. That's a really big, drastic step to take in one day. And I tried it several times, and it didn't work at all because it's overwhelming, it's too big of a change, and it's something that we're likely not going to be able to handle that quickly. But if you take it one step at a time and just small incremental improvements day by day, this is a much more manageable way to make a big change and find it successful. You're not having to go from 100 miles an hour to slamming the brakes on to zero in 24 hours. Again, that can just be overwhelming. It can be frustrating, and it can lead to a lot of stress that's going to cause us to fall back into our old habits. Instead, with this idea of Kaizen, if we make just small incremental improvements day after day after day after day, we're going to make really big changes in our lives in a pretty short period of time. So how do we do this? When we talk about our tapering methods, whether it was off of Suboxone or off of methadone, it wasn't making big dramatic drops in our dosage. It was making really, really small drops in our doses over a long period of time. When it comes to exercise, I didn't start off with running a 5K or going right into a CrossFit gym. I instead went down into the basement and did a couple push-ups, did a couple sit-ups, and I was able to do a little bit more the next day and a little bit more the day after that. And I made just small incremental improvements in my physical health day after day after day. Then, look, 10 years later, I'm in really, really great shape and I'm super healthy. I couldn't have made that change from being a cigarette smoking, alcoholic, heroin addict to a person who's in great health overnight. It's just not feasible. And I think most changes like that have to occur in a way that is a little bit slower and smoother, and it's going to allow you a bigger chance of success with whatever that goal may be. Now, I hope this doesn't come off as discouraging, or I hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying that you can't accomplish your goal in a quicker time period. But I would suggest, especially if we're talking about tapering or making any big lifestyle change, be smart. Don't overwhelm yourself. Stress is never going to be helpful when we're adding it to an already difficult situation. So, say we get a lot of emails about people who are trying to taper off of Suboxone or taper off of methadone, and they're already down to the lowest dose they can get to, but they're saying like it's really scary to jump from this 1 milligram to nothing. And what do we advise? And every single time we ask if they are, adding anything else into their lifestyle. Are you, have you started any healthy habits? Have you started, making any improvements to your life besides tapering down off of Suboxone or methadone? And a lot of times the answer is no. And we completely understand that it's difficult to get outside of your comfort zone, expose yourself to something that may be new and or difficult. But I think it is imperative for you to have something like that to be able to progress and to become better as a person. So some examples of things like this would be something like exercise or yoga or meditation. So we can just take one that's a little bit different, meditation. You don't have to start off with a 30-minute meditation on day one. The way that I started this practice, and it's still very new to me, is I just set my clock literally for 1 minute, and I just tried to sit and focus on my breathing for 1 minute. This had a really calming effect on my thought process, and it really brought my anxiety levels down, and I felt better after just 1 minute of trying to slow my mind down and focus on the present and focus on my breathing. And after that, the next day, I tried to do it for 2 minutes. And I actually ended up staying around 2 minutes for a couple days because I went to 3 minutes and I started to get a little bit jumpy after 2. That's the point though. There doesn't have to be any rush to this next level. The idea of Kaizen is that it's a never-ending, continuous improvement on whatever you're doing. Again, a lot of times, when this idea originated, it was to do with corporations and businesses, Toyota in particular, and they are just always making small improvements, always making things just a little bit better day by day by day. And then again, you turn around and in a year from now, those small changes have an incremental exponential effect on your self-improvement. So if you are at that point, maybe in your taper off of Suboxone or methadone, or you are, working your way out of any sort of bad situation, think about taking really small steps to get in the direction that you need to go into. A lot of times, depending on the specific situation, there's no need to try to do this overnight. Again, unless you're in some sort of dangerous situation, or you need to, if you're in an abusive relationship or something like that, maybe there is need to take some drastic measures and get yourself away from whatever that situation may be. But if you know you're safe and you have an idea of where you want to go, start making small incremental steps. This is going to help you first get started in that direction, instead of a lot of times if it's a big step, we're like, I'll start tomorrow or I'll do it the next day. If it's a small step that doesn't seem overwhelming, we're more likely to take that step sooner and start the process earlier on, which is half the battle. A lot of times we just hesitate to get started, so the intended finish line is just further and further away because we just don't ever get started. So if it's something like exercise, maybe in the morning just do a push-up, do a sit-up, do a air squat, just one. And then maybe tomorrow try to do 2 of them. And then maybe when you get to day 5 and you're doing 5 of each, stay at 5 of each for a couple days and see how you feel and just build from there. It's really effective to have the small incremental changes help you make a difference in your big picture. And we can do this in all areas of our life. So if you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to sleep better, anything, just make a small change. Go to bed 5 minutes earlier, or if you're trying to wake up earlier, set your alarm for literally 2 minutes earlier than you usually do. And it's in small incremental changes like this, where in 6 months from now, a year from now, your life can be completely different, and you'll never feel like you had to go through any real growing pains to get there. Again, this concept is new to me, but when I look back at how Greg and I were able to make changes in our lives, coming from heroin addicts who were basically at rock bottom to successful husbands, fathers, and business owners, a lot of these same concepts applied, you know, in what we did. We didn't try to do everything overnight. We always preach about our taper method taking a really long time, and we really took our time going through those steps and making sure that we were comfortable moving through those steps, because we were very aware that the less stress that we had to deal with at the time was going to greatly improve our chances of coming out successful on the other side. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is for you guys to start adding some of these healthy habits into your lifestyle. Again, for all the reasons that we always speak of, you know, you're increasing the release of healthy chemicals in your body. So dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, that's going to really help. Just the natural production of those chemicals are going to make you feel a lot better as you're starting to let go of whatever your maintenance program is. It's going to be easier if you have that stuff to rely on, and you can make yourself feel better, you know, through naturally occurring methods. We have some examples or some ideas about how you can do that on our other videos. I'll let you guys check that out on your own, just dig through them a little bit. And we talk a lot about nutrition and what nutrients are going to help you produce those chemicals or make you feel better. And we give some different ideas for beginner exercise programs. If you guys want to see anything else like that, please let us know. Leave us a comment, shoot us a message at projectunbroken@gmail.com, or hit us up on our website at www.projectunbroken.com. And Greg and I would be happy to go into depth about how we got started, which was completely different, but they both ended up being successful. And it's something that if we could do it, you guys could absolutely do it. We did not start this process out being in good shape. And we get a lot of comments from people saying, you know, must be nice, you know, you were healthy and going through your withdrawal. It was not the case at all. We were super unhealthy, smoking cigarettes, drinking too much booze, and doing too many drugs. We were not the picture of health at all. So again, if we can do it, you can do it. The key is just small incremental steps, and you will be able to reach your goal. You have to just be patient with yourself and keep stepping forward, keep moving forward, and you're good. It's really that simple. You just have to find the blueprint, have a little bit of a game plan, and then stick to your guns when times get tough. But again, with this method, you're less likely to be overwhelmed, you're less likely to get stressed out, and you're more likely to stay on the path and find yourself again in a successful situation sooner than later. Just the key is getting started, just baby steps from start to finish. So thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate all the comments, all the love. Do me a favor, hit that bell. We want you guys to be notified when we come out with new content. Share, like, subscribe. We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, guys. See ya.